You know what's fascinating? Society has created this narrative that single mothers are untouchable victims who deserve unconditional support and admiration. And if you even question that narrative, you're immediately labeled as heartless, misogynistic, or morally bankrupt. But here's what's actually happening behind closed doors in private conversations between men, in the decisions they make when no one's watching. They're opting out, silently, decisively, permanently. And it has nothing to do with the fairy tale reasons women tell themselves. It's not about fear of commitment. It's not about immaturity. It's about something far more fundamental that strikes at the core of how men evaluate their own futures. Let me start with something uncomfortable. When a man looks at a single mother, he's not just seeing her. He's seeing a complete ecosystem that he has to either accept wholesale or reject entirely. There's no middle ground. He can't date just her. He's dating her children's emotional needs. He's dating her ex's opinions. He's dating her financial obligations. He's dating her custody schedule. He's dating her guilt about not spending enough time with her kids. He's dating her exhaustion. He's dating her trauma from her previous relationship. And most importantly, he's dating the fact that she's already made the most significant decision of her life: having children with someone else. Someone who clearly wasn't good enough to stick around. Here's what nobody wants to acknowledge. Every relationship is a negotiation of power, priority, and investment. In a traditional relationship, both people start from zero. They build together. They create shared history. They make joint decisions about their future. But with a single mother, the negotiation is over before it begins. She's already established her priorities, and he's not at the top. He never will be. And more critically, she's already demonstrated her judgment by choosing to procreate with someone who's no longer in the picture. Whether that was her choice or his, whether he left or she kicked him out, the result is the same. Her decision-making led to single motherhood. And that's a data point every rational man evaluates. I'll tell you about something that happened to me personally. I was consulting for a tech startup, and the CEO introduced me to his friend. Successful woman, ran her own marketing agency, intelligent, articulate, attractive. We grabbed coffee. The conversation was great until she mentioned her 7-year-old daughter. The shift in my mind was instantaneous. Not because I don't like children, but because I immediately started calculating. If I pursue this, I'm signing up for school pickups I didn't create the need for. I'm signing up for a relationship where Saturday mornings aren't ours, they're ballet recitals and birthday parties for kids I don't know. I'm signing up to hear about her ex every single week for the rest of this relationship, because they co-parent. I'm signing up to always wonder if she's comparing me to him. And most importantly, I'm signing up to invest my finite time and resources into a situation where I'll never be the priority, never be the first choice, never be the foundation, because that foundation was built with someone else and it crumbled. I finished the coffee politely. I never called her again. And before you judge me, ask yourself this. If you were buying a house and the inspector told you the foundation was cracked, the previous owner abandoned it halfway through renovations, and you'd be responsible for fixing all of it while never truly owning it, would you buy that house? Or would you find a vacant lot and build exactly what you want? Let's talk about something that makes people uncomfortable but is absolutely central to male psychology: legacy. Men are hardwired to build, to create, to leave something behind that bears their mark. When a man invests in a relationship, he's not just investing in the present moment. He's investing in a future lineage, his children, his name carried forward, his values transmitted to the next generation. But when a man dates a single mother, especially if she doesn't want more children, he's being asked to abandon that biological imperative entirely. He's being asked to pour his resources, his guidance, his presence into children who will never carry his genetics, never call him dad without hesitation, never truly be his. I know a man, extraordinarily successful hedge fund manager, 43 years old, never married. He dated a single mother for 4 years. 4 years of pretending he was okay with her 2 teenage sons. 4 years of showing up to their games, helping with college applications, paying for family vacations. 4 years of waiting for the right time to discuss having a child together. That time never came. She was 41 when they met. By the time they'd been together 4 years, she was 45. The window had closed, and one day he sat in my office and said something I'll never forget. I just funded another man's genetic legacy while mine dies with me. I spent 4 years being a stepfather when I should have spent 4 years finding a woman who could give me my own children. The regret in his voice wasn't about her, it was about himself, about the choice he made to ignore his own biological imperative, because he thought being mature meant sacrificing it. Here's something else nobody discusses. The social dynamics of dating a single mother are fundamentally broken from the start. When you're in a relationship with a woman without children, you integrate into each other's lives equally. You meet her friends, she meets yours. You blend socially, you create a shared circle. But with a single mother, you're not integrating into her life. You're being auditioned for a pre-existing cast. Her kids have to approve you. Her ex gets to have opinions about you. Her family, who may still have loyalty to the father of her children, evaluates whether you measure up. Her friends, who watched her previous relationship implode, are skeptical of you by default. You're not joining her life as an equal partner. You're a newcomer trying to earn your place in a hierarchy that was established without you. I watched my business partner go through this. He started dating a woman with a 6-year-old. Nice kid, no problems there. But every time they tried to take the relationship to the next level, there was resistance from unexpected places. Her mother preferred the ex. Her best friend thought he wasn't as good with the kid as the father was. The kid's teacher asked why daddy wasn't picking him up anymore. Every single interaction was a reminder that he was the replacement, not the original. And here's the thing that broke him. They went to a parent-teacher conference together. The teacher, who'd known the ex for years, spent the entire time asking where daddy was, if daddy was okay, if daddy would be at the school fundraiser. My business partner sat there invisible, holding his girlfriend's hand, realizing he would always be the substitute. He ended it 2 weeks later, not because he didn't love her, but because he finally understood that in her world, he would never be the leading man. He'd always be the understudy. Let's address the elephant that's destroying these relationships from the inside: financial resentment. And I'm going to be specific because vague platitudes don't help anyone. When a man dates a single mother, there's an immediate and permanent financial imbalance. She has child-related expenses that never end. Daycare, school supplies, medical bills, clothes, food, activities, emergency expenses that pop up constantly. And here's where it gets complicated. If he doesn't contribute, he's seen as cheap, unsupportive, not really committed. But if he does contribute, he's subsidizing another man's children. Children that man created and then walked away from, leaving the financial burden for someone else to carry. I know a guy who tracked every expense over 3 years, not because he was petty, but because he wanted to understand where his money was actually going. Groceries that included food for her kids, utilities for a house he didn't live in but helped pay for because she couldn't cover it on her own, car repairs because she needed reliable transportation for school pickups, birthday gifts, Christmas presents, back-to-school shopping. Over 3 years, $68,000. $68,000 that didn't go toward their future together. It went toward maintaining the consequences of her past relationship. And the father, he was paying $600 a month in child support and posting Instagram photos from Cancun with his new girlfriend. The resentment didn't hit all at once. It was gradual. Every time he saw her ex's social media living carefree while he was helping pay for braces, every time she asked him to cover something because child support was late again, every time he thought about the house he could have bought, the investments he could have made, if he wasn't subsidizing someone else's kids. When they finally broke up, he told me something brutally honest. I wasn't her partner. I was her financial plan B, the safety net for when the actual father didn't feel like stepping up. And I was supposed to smile and be grateful for the privilege. Here's something that destroys men emotionally in these relationships, but they rarely articulate it. The powerlessness. When you're in a relationship with a woman without kids, you have agency. You make decisions together. You have equal say in how your time is spent, where you live, how you spend money, what your future looks like. But with a single mother, you have zero agency over the most important parts of her life. Her schedule is dictated by a custody agreement you had no input on. Her financial situation is partially controlled by child support payments from someone else. Her decisions about parenting, education, healthcare for the kids, those are made with her ex, not with you. You're living in a system designed by other people, and your only choice is to accept it or leave. I consulted with a man, emergency room physician, incredibly intelligent guy. He'd been with a single mother for 2 years. They wanted to move in together. Sounds simple, right? Except it wasn't. She couldn't move too far from her ex because of the custody arrangement. She couldn't move into his place because it only had 2 bedrooms and she needed space for her kids. He couldn't move into her place because it was still tied up in property settlement negotiations with her ex. Every option they explored hit a wall created by decisions made before he was even in the picture. We spent 6 months trying to figure out where to live, he told me. 6 months of our relationship consumed by logistics created by her previous relationship. And the entire time, her ex had veto power because any move affected the custody schedule. I realized I had no control over my own life. I was just waiting for permission from people who'd already proven they couldn't make good decisions together. Let's talk about the comparison game that every man in this situation plays, even if he doesn't admit it. He can't help but compare himself to her ex, the man she chose to have children with, the man she once loved enough to create a family with. And that comparison is poison. If her ex is a deadbeat, he wonders what her judgment is like. She chose this man, trusted him, had kids with him, and he turned out to be worthless. What does that say about her decision-making? Will she eventually see the same flaws in me? If her ex is actually a decent guy, the comparison is even worse. Why didn't it work out? Is she the problem? Is she impossible to please? Did she destroy a good relationship, and will she do the same to ours? And here's the part that eats at men silently. He has to watch her co-parent with this man, watch them communicate, watch them make decisions together, watch them share private jokes about their kids that he'll never be part of, watch them have history that predates him and will outlast him. There's an intimacy in co-parenting that's undeniable. They created life together. They share DNA in those kids. They have a bond that he can never replicate, never compete with, never erase. And in quiet moments, he wonders if part of her still loves the ex. Not romantically, maybe. But there's a connection there that makes him feel like an outsider in his own relationship. I remember talking to a guy who'd been with a single mother for 18 months. Good relationship overall. But he told me about this moment that cracked something inside him. They were at her daughter's birthday party. Her ex was there. And he watched them, his girlfriend and her ex, coordinating the cake cutting, laughing at some inside joke about when their daughter was a baby, taking a photo together with their kid. And he stood there holding the gift he'd bought, realizing he was a guest at someone else's family event. That's what broke me, he said, realizing that no matter how long I'm with her, I'll always be the outsider. They're the family. I'm just the guy she's dating. Now let me tell you about the most devastating trap of all, the one that destroys men in a way they never fully recover from. When a man commits to a single mother, he enters what I call the stepfather void. All the responsibilities of being a father with absolutely none of the security, authority, or legal protection. He's expected to show up, invest emotionally, guide these children, help raise them, but he has zero rights. And when the relationship ends, and it usually does, he loses everything in a way that's absolutely crushing. I knew a man, let's call him Christopher. 38 years old when he met her. She had 2 daughters, 8 and 10, sweet kids. He fell in love with all of them. He didn't just date her, he became a father figure. He went to every soccer game, every dance recital, every parent-teacher conference. He helped with homework every night. He taught the oldest how to ride a bike. He was there when the youngest had nightmares. He paid for their summer camps, their school trips, their birthday parties. He took them on vacations. He was building a family. For 7 years, he was their dad in every way that mattered except biologically. Those girls called him by his first name, but he was the one who showed up. He was the one who cared. He was the stability in their lives. Then it ended. She reconnected with her ex-husband at their daughter's high school graduation. Old feelings resurfaced. She decided to give the marriage another try. For the kids, she said. Christopher was devastated, but he understood relationships end. What he didn't understand, what he wasn't prepared for, was losing the girls. He'd been in their lives for 7 years. 7 years of being a father to them. He tried to stay in touch. He texted them, called them. He had no legal rights, none. The ex-husband didn't want him around, said it was confusing for the kids. She agreed. Just like that, he was erased. The girls stopped responding to his messages after a few weeks. He'd drive past their school sometimes, hoping to see them, just to know they were okay. He'd see photos on social media of them with their biological father, the man who'd barely been there for a decade, now playing happy family. And Christopher was just gone, like those 7 years never happened. He came to see me 6 months after the breakup, and he was broken in a way I'd rarely seen. I didn't just lose a girlfriend, he said. I lost my daughters. Except they were never really my daughters, were they? I have no right to see them. No right to know how they're doing. No right to be at their graduations or their weddings. I gave 7 years of my life raising them, loving them, being their father, and I have nothing. Not even a photo I can legally keep without it being weird. He told me about this moment that destroyed him. A few months after the breakup, he ran into the youngest at a grocery store. She was 15 now. He hadn't seen her in almost a year. He said her name. She looked at him, and for a second he saw recognition. But then her mother appeared at the end of the aisle, saw him, and called her daughter over. The girl looked back at him one more time, then walked away. He said it was like watching someone he raised, someone he loved as his own, treat him like a stranger. Because that's what he legally was. A stranger. 7 years erased because he never had any rights to begin with. That's the stepfather void. You invest everything, your time, your money, your heart, your years. You love those kids like they're yours. You show up every single day. And when it ends, you have no rights, no access, no closure. You lose children you helped raise and you're expected to just move on like it was a normal breakup. But it's not a normal breakup. It's the loss of your family, a family you built, but never legally had. Here's what's happening at scale in the dating market, and it's creating a crisis that nobody wants to address honestly. High-value men, men with education, financial stability, emotional intelligence, are categorically rejecting single mothers. Not quietly, not apologetically. They're swiping left instantly. They're ending conversations the moment kids are mentioned. They're prioritizing women without children so overwhelmingly that single mothers are being pushed to the margins of the dating pool. And the men who are willing to date single mothers fall into predictable categories. Men who are desperate and have no options. Men who are damaged and don't think they deserve better. Men who are predatory and see vulnerable women with financial needs. And occasionally, men who are genuinely good-hearted but don't fully understand what they're signing up for until it's too late. This creates a vicious cycle. Single mothers can't attract quality men, so they settle for low-quality men, which reinforces every negative stereotype, which makes quality men even less likely to consider them. And round it goes. The single mothers who do find quality men willing to commit discover that those men almost always have a breaking point. Could be 6 months in, could be 3 years in, but eventually, the resentment, the powerlessness, the financial strain, the eternal presence of the ex, the feeling of being second place, it accumulates. And he leaves. And she's devastated and confused because she thought he was different. She thought he really accepted her situation. But acceptance and tolerance aren't the same thing. He tolerated it until he couldn't anymore. Let me make this crystal clear with a comparison, because sometimes you need to see options side by side to understand what men are actually choosing between. Option A woman who's 29 years old, no children, established in her career, financially independent, her time is her own, her weekends are available, she's excited about building a future with the right person, she wants to travel, explore, create memories, she's open to having children when the time is right. When you date her, 100% of your investment goes into building something together. Your time together is about you two. Your money builds your shared future. Your decisions are made jointly. There's no ex to navigate, no custody schedule to work around, no kids who need to approve of you. You're building from the ground up, together, as equals. Option B, a woman who's 37 years old, 2 kids from a previous marriage, shares custody with an ex who will be in the picture forever, exhausted from balancing work and single parenting, available every other weekend maybe if nothing comes up with the kids, financially stretched between child expenses and basic living costs, guarded emotionally because her previous relationship failed. When you date her, your investment is split. Your time is dictated by her custody schedule. Your money subsidizes her previous relationship's consequences. Your decisions are filtered through her ex's opinions and her kids' needs. You're not building something new. You're trying to integrate into something that already exists, that was built with someone else, that crumbled, and now you're expected to help repair it while always being the outsider. If you're a quality man with options, which do you choose? Be honest. The market has answered that question definitively. Men are choosing option A overwhelmingly, not because they're shallow or immature, but because they understand value, and they refuse to accept terrible deals just because society says they should. So why won't quality men date single mothers? Because they've finally learned that self-respect isn't selfish. Because they've finally understood that choosing someone who can't choose them back isn't love, it's self-abandonment. Because they've finally recognized that investing in someone else's failed relationship while sacrificing their own future isn't noble, it's just tragic. Because they've heard too many stories like Christopher's, men who gave everything and lost everything, men who loved children that weren't legally theirs and had those children ripped away with zero recourse. Single mothers offer a deal where the man accepts permanent secondary status, finances another man's children, surrenders control over major life decisions, competes with an ex who will never disappear, risks loving children he has no legal rights to, and sacrifices his own biological legacy. In exchange, he gets a partner who's perpetually exhausted, constantly stressed, emotionally divided, unavailable half the time, and comes with complications that will never resolve. That's not a relationship. That's a charity case with occasional intimacy, and quality men aren't accepting it anymore. They'd rather build something from the ground up with someone who chooses them first than inherit someone else's broken foundation. They'd rather wait for a blank canvas than try to paint over someone else's failed masterpiece. They'd rather protect themselves from the stepfather void than risk loving children they'll lose when the relationship inevitably ends. And that's not cruelty. That's called knowing your worth and refusing to negotiate it away for someone who's already demonstrated questionable judgment. The market has spoken, and it's saying something single mothers don't want to hear. Your past choices have present consequences, and one of those consequences is that quality men see you as a high-risk, low-reward investment, not because you're bad people, but because the situation you're offering is objectively terrible. And men are finally smart enough to walk away from terrible deals, even when society tells them they should be heroes and accept it anyway. They've learned from men like Christopher, who gave 7 years and lost everything. They've learned from the hedge fund manager who sacrificed his biological legacy. They've learned from the guy who spent $68,000 on someone else's kids. And they've decided that's not going to be their story. They're writing a different ending, one where they choose themselves, and they're not apologizing for it.